The girl just put her hand into the clear water, but she didn't expect something strange to happen the next moment. As if the small fish had heard some kind of call, they swam towards the girl's position. However, the greedy fishermen were not too surprised, because every time they took the girl out to fish, they always returned with a full load of fish, because of the girl's special ability. That feeds the entire population of the island. But there was more to the girl than that. Every morning, there's a line out the door of the girl's house, because anyone who comes in contact with the girl, no matter what kind of sickness they're suffering from, can be healed by the girl. Even a small wound on the body will heal as fast as the eye can see. The local people regarded her as a miracle healer. Everyone worships her. It was the arrival of the girl that gave the islanders a life of prosperity and a life free from disease. But this peaceful village was thrown into danger by the fishermen's selfishness and greed. On this day, Annie and her friends were playing in the mountains. Suddenly, they found a huge beehive on the ground. The strange thing was that when Annie approached it slowly, the aggressive bees fell onto Annie's hand like pets. And as Annie showed her friend this amazing sight, she found her friend under siege. Seeing her friend hurt, Annie unconsciously clenched her fists. Unexpectedly, the next second, all the bees around her blew themselves up. They lost their lives forever. My friend was stunned by the sight. Even Annie was shocked. In order not to be seen as a monster, Annie asked her friends to keep the secret for her. The boy agreed. Unexpectedly, after this incident, Annie's special powers somehow disappeared. She could no longer use her powers to save the local people. Few fishermen went out to catch fish, and so it went. A week passed. The locals were in a panic. They held meetings all night. They were deeply worried and afraid for their future lives. Early the next morning, they brought gifts to comfort Annie. They prayed that Annie would soon regain her powers. They hoped that they would be able to return to their old life of prosperity. In the evening, Lisa soothed Annie to sleep. She realized that the cuts she had made during the day were rapidly healing. Excited, she called her husband over, but to her husband's surprise, that the scars on his own hands were also disappearing. The couple realized that and had regained her healing powers. In order to cure her mother of Alzheimer's, Lisa immediately wanted to tell her mother, because her mother was suffering from severe dementia. She had been suffering from severe Alzheimer's for days without any cure, but her husband, Nick, stopped her, because Nick knew that if her mother ever regained her senses, all the people on the island would once again use Annie's powers for personal gain. Nick said it was natural to live and die. He told his wife to stay out of it, but she hid it from her husband. She brought her mother to Annie's bedside. Soon her Alzheimer's was cured, but the fisherman's catch was not as good as it could have been. Soon after, the fisherman came to Lisa's house, complaining about them. Mother still leaked the news that Annie had regained her divine powers. After seeing that and could only use her divine power when she was asleep, Mother had a bold idea. She handed Nick a bottle of sleeping pills, and asked Nick to quietly put Annie in a deep sleep, so that everyone on the island would continue to enjoy the blessings of the gods. At first, Nick refused, but his wife kept reassuring him. As long as he slept, nothing would happen. Nothing at all. Eventually, Nick agreed to do it. At night, Lisa quietly crushed the sleeping pills into powder, into Annie's glass of water, and when Annie fell into a deep sleep, she was put on a stretcher, followed the other residents to the beach. As the fishermen set their nets in the sea, they carried Annie out to the sea.